Welcome back, guys. This is the third video of the series of 10 videos in Nationalism in India, CBSE Class 10 Chapter 3. Two videos have already been uploaded. This is the third video now. Here in this video, our topic is Satyagraha, idea of Satyagraha. Gandhiji practiced this after coming to India from South Africa. Next first, Gandhiji came to India from South Africa in 1915. After having successful efforts there. So what efforts Gandhiji had? When Gandhiji went to South Africa, he saw that there was a racial discrimination which was known as apartheid system. So Gandhiji was not happy with the racial discrimination with the people in South Africa between whites and the non-whites. So he organized people and he opposed those discriminatory laws. One such law was every non-white person had to carry a permit to roam in the white areas or other areas too. Gandhiji burnt those permits, saying that this is discrimination, all humans should be treated equally. And Gandhiji organized many people to come and support him. So that is a mass struggle, a mass agitation against something wrong. And Gandhiji did it successfully in South Africa. So when he came to India in 1915 from South Africa, few of the discriminatory laws which were in South Africa were repeatedly cancelled. So this new weapon Gandhiji discovered, or we can say invented, mass agitation, weapon of mass agitation, to which Gandhiji referred as Satyagraha. He came to India and started that weapon of Satyagraha. What is Satyagraha? Satyagraha means Satya plus Agraha, means insistence on truth, power of truth and the importance of truth. Gandhiji said, believed that power of truth is very immense, truth is very powerful. The only thing we need is to search what is truth. We need to find out what is truth. Here truth means not true and false. Here truth means something which is right. Something which is right, we must find out what is the right thing and we must insist for that right thing to happen. And we also struggle a wrong thing should not happen. So you should find what is the truth and you should insist on the truth should be practiced, but while doing that you cannot use force is not necessary. You must avoid using force. You cannot be violent, you cannot be aggressive, you cannot be abusive in your language. How is it possible? If someone is doing something wrong and you want that the person who is practicing something wrong should not practice, so you need to force him that stop this wrong practice. No, according to Gandhiji, no, you do not need to use force if the cause you're fighting is true. If you're fighting for truth, for example, we'll take the example of Munna Bhai MBBS movie. That Boman Irani, he captures second inning house, which is the old age home, and now Sanjay Dutt want that old age home back for the old people. He was a Gunda, he could fight, but he doesn't fight because he started practicing Gandhigiri. So he stands in front of the house of Bhamanirani, and that is he was insisting for truth. And when he was doing that, force was not necessary. So if your cause is right, you do not need to resort to force. You don't use to force. And again, of course, if you are fighting for truth, you are obviously against injustice. And the same thing, if your cause is right, if you're fighting, struggling against injustice, you do not need force. This is the basic of idea of Satyagraha. Satyagraha means Satya plus Agraha, insistence on truth. Now, if you are that Satyagrahi, if you support right things, if you are against the wrong things and your cause is right, then you do not need violence. Then what are the other expectations from a Satyagrahi? First of all, as you might have understood by now, you cannot use force. It means a Satyagrahi never resorts to violence. Satyagrahi never takes the help of violence. You can never be violent. It means the person, of course, should not get angry as well. He never becomes aggressive. Aggressive means we shout, we beat the tables to prove that we are right. As you may see in nowadays news channel panel debates, some panelists become aggressive to put their points. They often quarrel on the stage. This is not needed. This is aggression, and Satyagrahi is never aggressive. Plus सत्याग्रही never seeks vengeance. He never want to take the revenge. वो कभी बदला लेने के बारे में सोचता ही नहीं. There is nothing the satyagrahi which is called as vengeance or revenge. So these are the basic expectation from a satyagrahi. Again, satyagrahi. What is done under satyagraha? Under satyagraha, a satyagrahi appeals to conscience of the oppressor. Oppressor means atyachari, the one who troubles other. And what is conscience? Conscience means in Hindi we can give the word Vivek Buddhi. Vivek Buddhi. What is the conscience? Conscience means your ability to decide what is right and what is wrong. If the two persons comes to you or come to you and they are fighting over some issue, and they explain you about the issue, then you think your own way, in your own way, and you come to know, no, this person is right and this is wrong. And when you are right in your decision, then your conscience is very strong. So every person has some good a good man in him or a bad man, a good person in him or a bad person in him. Conscience means that good person, the ability to decide what is wrong, right, and what is not. So this ability, the conscience, is aroused in the oppressor. If someone is doing something wrong, try to arouse the good person in that oppressor, so that he will automatically, when he will realize that he is doing something wrong, he will automatically stop his wrong practices. And a satyagrahi never forces that his view is right, that I am a satyagrahi. Suppose I am a satyagrahi, I will never force that I am right, I am right, I won't say that, but I will rather try to prove that I am right with logics and reasons. I will try to convince the person in front of me, sir, this is right. I will never know this is right, you have to agree. No, satyagrahi never does that. Satyagrahi never forces a person to accept the truth, but try to convince him that it is right. And final belief of Gandhiji is truth always triumphs, truth always wins. This is the brief analysis, a brief description of idea of philosophy. Satyagraha. Satyagraha it itself is a very deep philosophy. A full book can be dedicated just idea of one word, Satyagraha. But here we have a limitation. So still this simple slide has gone to the 7 minutes. Rest we'll see. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So when Gandhiji came to India, he practiced Satyagraha at three places. Which are those three places? First is this, Champaran in Bihar. Then he practiced it in Kheda in Gujarat. Again, this is for farmers. And third, he did mill workers in Ahmadabad. At these three places, Gandhiji practices Satyagraha. Let's see all these three in Champaran. Satyagraha was Gandhiji's first Satyagraha in India. Here we can say that Gandhiji got his political break. The Satyagraha started in 1916 and ended in 1917. So what was about the Satyagraha? Why the Satyagraha was there? The problem was British government, the colonial government forced the Indian farmers to dedicate a significant part of their agricultural land to grow indigo. What is indigo? Indigo was a crop which was used to make dye, blue color dye, which was used in the textile industry, and Indians were forced to grow them. Of course, Indian farmers were paid a very negligible amount, and maximum profit was earned by just landlords and other people who were involved in that trade. But the farmers were given a negligible amount. As a result of that, farmers were economically poor and they had very less space, land available with them to grow the other crops that they need in the day-to-day life, like wheat, grain, pulses. That there was less land available with the farmers, so there was food shortage also there for that. So these people went to Gandhiji and asked Gandhiji's help, and Gandhiji agreed to help them, and Gandhiji came to Champaran to help these farmers who were troubled by the British laws. Gandhiji went on hunger strike, and Gandhiji did the same satyagraha that he had done in South Africa. And as Gandhiji was successful in South Africa to repeal some discriminatory laws, same happened in Champaran also. So what was the result of that? First of all, more compensation was given to the farmers. It means the farmers who had already grown indigo, and for that they were paid a very negligible amount of money. Now whatever was less was added to it. Now farmers are given more for what they have already grown. Second, Indian farmers of Champaran were given more rights, more powers over their land. Now it was up to the farmer whether they want to cultivate the indigo or not. Earlier it was forced, they had to cultivate. Now farmers will decide whether they want to cultivate indigo or not. And if they want to cultivate, how much land they would dedicate to cultivation of indigo, that the Indian farmers started to was to decide now onwards, especially champaran farmers. And there was a famine, सूखा अकाल पड़ा हुआ था, and government also suspended the bonus. This is the bonus Gandhiji got for the farmers. Now suspension of collection of revenue till the famine is ended. जब तक सूखा पड़ रहा था तब तक कोई भी टैक्स, कोई भी लगान इंडियन फार्मर्स से लिया नहीं जाएगा. दैट इज एडिशनल थिंग. This is the moment where Gandhiji first time called as Mahatma, and it is where people started to call Gandhiji as Bapu. And so first experiment of Satyagraha in India, that is in Champaran, was successful. Now let's move to the second experiment of Satyagraha, that was in Kheda. What was the problem in Kheda? Like everywhere else, farmers in Kheda, that is in Gujarat, you can see the location, neighboring district of Ahmadabad. Farmers had to pay the taxes. Everywhere the farmers had to pay the taxes. But there was problem in Kheda. The problem was there were plague epidemic. एक महामारी आई थी इस समय की plague. And there was also crop failure due to failure of monsoon. There was not enough crop available. Plus there was plague epidemic, and farmers were not in a condition to pay revenue to the government. Farmers लगान देने के condition में नहीं थे. So farmers of Kheda demanded the government that taxes should be decreased, the revenue should be decreased. But government did not respond to this demand, and the revenue were not decreased, and farmers were not in a condition to pay taxes, and those who could not pay, they did not pay. And those farmers who did not pay the tax, their land, property, government confiscated. Their houses were confiscated, their agricultural land were confiscated, because these people could not, those who do not have money, where would they pay? But their property was confiscated. So these people struggled. Government arrested those farmers, and these farmers even did not resist the arrest. They were ready to be arrested, but they did not become violent, because why? Gandhiji joined them. Gandhiji was a follower of non-violence. So all this happened, but ultimately this struggle was also become successful, and what was given to them, like Champaran, all those who did not pay land revenues because of having no money, and their land had been confiscated. Now their confiscated land were returned back to the farmers. What amount of tax, percent of tax, that also came down, and the tax stopped being collected during current year and the next year. 2 years tax won't be collected. 2 years tax were waived off. 2 साल के टैक्स की माफी हो गई, उनकी जमीन उनको वापस मिल गई, और टैक्स का परसेंटेज भी कम हो गया. That's second attempt of Satyagraha, which was also successful, and was Champaran Kheda Satyagraha, both against the Britishers. A third, cotton mill worker Satyagraha in Ahmadabad, next year. All are in sequence, 16, 17, 18. Cotton mill workers. What was the problem here? Again, the plague epidemic was there, and these workers wanted more, cotton mill workers wanted more wages. They wanted that their wages should be hiked by 50%, but the cotton mill owners, they were not willing to increase the wages by 50%. They are willing to increase the wages by 20%. Now here Gandhiji came. Gandhiji went on Satyagraha, again went on strike. Tried to convince both the parties, and finally Gandhiji agreed. Now see, what was Gandhiji's agreement? They workers demanded 50%, owners willing to give 20%, but and there is a gap of 30% between what was being demanded and what was being offered. 30%. Now Gandhiji provided the solution. 35%. Gandhiji convinced workers, you are demanding 50%, demand 15% less, and convince owners to give 15% more than what they was offering. So 35% was the solution. So this is also, the strike came to an end, mill worker strike came to an end, and work started again. So here we come to an end of this video, and next video will be on Rowlatt Satyagraha. Thank you so much.